Good morning, everybody. It's a new day today, so I thought it would be a good idea to go through some of my favourite books that I've read because of TikTok or BookTok and take a look at what those ones are. Okay, so the first books that I've got for you guys are the first three books from Magnolia Parks. The reason why I've only got the first three is because I haven't actually read the last two yet. I'm still waiting to read those. So this series follows Magnolia and BJ as well as Daisy Hates and Christian Hems and their whole entire friendship group, and it looks at how being a socialite in London can impact their relationships. It is absolutely brilliant story if you have not read it already. One thing I will say is it's not for everybody in terms of it's got quite a lot of miscommunication and the relationships aren't always the most healthiest relationships. But if you like chaos and drama, it kind of everybody always compares it to like if Made in Chelsea met Gossip Girl. So it's set in London. But I really love this story. I thought they were brilliant. I really need to get on to the next ones actually. I don't know why I've put such a pause on them. I think I read the first three in one go, and they're quite chunky books. So this is the third one. The covers of these are amazing as well. So this is the third one, the second one, and the first one as well. A lot of people have the new covers, which look like it's people's legs really lying down, which are also beautiful. But I just prefer the original indie style covers, so that's the ones I've got. The next book everybody and their mums probably knows about is quite recent book that's blown up on TikTok, and that is Metal Slinger. I did actually get this as part of my Fairy Loot subscription, but I hadn't read a book in a long time. I've been in this slump for quite a while now, and this is one of the only books that I have managed to finish kind of in the new year. I've just had a look, so it's Bryn. So this book follows Bryn and her civilization have been kicked off of a land, and it's unclear really why that's happened in the beginning, and they end up taking a prisoner from inland, and things kind of change from that. I won't go too much into it because I thought that it was brilliant. The storyline is very different to anything I've read before. Sometimes with fantasy it can get very samey, so in terms of Metal Slinger, it's all very different, it's very new, and I thought it was brilliant. The next one does come out very soon. I believe it's Light Wielder. If it's not out already, I haven't actually had a look as to when that's coming out. But I will definitely be picking that one up once it does, so I can carry on the story. It's very good, and if you do end up reading it, please let me know what you think because I love hearing other people's opinions. Okay, so the next book I think everybody and their mums has read at this point, and it wouldn't be a BookTok favourites without me recommending this. So this is, of course, Fourth Wing. I do also recommend Iron Flame, however, my friend is borrowing that, so I don't have it to hand at the moment. So Fourth Wing follows Violet, and Violet is living in Bassagath College with her mum, who is the general, and when Violet's dad sadly passes away, although Violet had been raised to be a scribe by her dad, her mum says, "You're now going in to be a dragon rider." And this terrifies Violet, and her older sister also is terrified by the fact that she's going to be a dragon rider, because there's a really, really high death rate, and it's very likely that she may not survive even the first part of that. So Fourth Wing is one of my favourite entire books ever. I know that it's very cliche at this point, but I just think it's absolutely brilliant. Although I still haven't read Onyx Storm. So I need to get a move on with that because there's a lot of my friends who are hounding at me to read it because I am so behind. I got it the day it released. I just have not actually picked it up yet. So that needs to be one of my next TBRs, and I think I will do a video vlog of me reading that just because if I know Rebecca Yarros and I know the Fourth Wing series, there will be lots to talk about. So keep an eye out for that video coming very soon. Okay, so the next book that I'm putting in this video is not a book that I've read in a long time. However, I feel like it has to go in here because it's the book that got me back into reading. So from when I was a teenager up until I was about 22, I did not pick up a book. I think it was just within school. I feel like there was a cliche of people don't read. Why are you reading? So I really kind of fell out of love with reading, and I'm so glad that I read this book to get me back into reading. Whether the author is a very liked person at the moment is tricky one. I know that there's lots of controversy over this author, but I do feel that it's an important book to my reading journey, and I think a lot of other people's reading journey on Book Talk, and that is It Ends With Us. I personally think that the book is so much better than the film. From what I can remember, it was like I said, it was the first book that I read as an adult, and without that book, I probably would not have ever started reading again. It was all over my For You page, so I had to pick it up, and I am so glad that I did, because I wouldn't be here with this lovely bookshelf behind me and this emotional roller coaster that I've been on, really, since I have started reading. It's really taken me back to my childhood self, I think, a little bit, and helped me process a lot of things and just have something to do in my spare time that's not scrolling or playing Coin Master on my phone. Like, I'm actually doing something that brings me joy and brings me happiness, and I do feel like I've kind of got that book to owe it to. But I will stop rambling on about that book now, because I appreciate that a lot of people have read that one. So the next book that I have to recommend is one that blew up a couple years ago, and then I haven't really seen much about it, and it's Say You Swear. And I don't know what, like, about this book I loved so much. It's just, I really enjoyed it. So I this book follows so this book follows Ariana and Noah, and through their story, I don't know what happened at the end. There was a massive twist, and I'm not going to say what it was, but I cried my eyes out. I was so not expecting the twist that happened in this book. So I'm not going to say any more about this. Just, it's enemies to lovers, I think, or is it first loves? I can't remember the exact tropes. I've read it a long time ago, but I do remember that it was a book that I could not stop thinking about, and I think I read it all within like one or two sittings. So if you have time or you're not sure what to read and you want a romance, I'd definitely recommend Say You Swear, just because I thought it was brilliant, really. And yeah, that's all I have to say on that. Okay, now the next book is very popular again, and with all of these books in this series, because they have come up through TikTok, I feel like they're all very popular. But this one is going to be Never Lie by Frida McFadden. So this follows Trisha and Ethan, who are looking to buy a new house, and as they get there, so they're going to a house viewing, and there's a massive snowstorm, and they get trapped in. But the housing salesperson isn't there when they get there, so it looks at them exploring the house, and they find something which they probably don't expect. Mainly Trisha. Trisha finds something that she doesn't expect to see in the house, and it kind of follows her exploring what this means and what they are. This concept was really different, and I loved Never Lie. It was one of the first thrillers that I read after Verity and The Housemaid. And to be honest, Frida McFadden books, I feel like you cannot go wrong. If you're in a book slump and you need something to read, definitely pick these up, because they are so quick to get into. But Never Lie is probably one of my favourites. Now, the next book set that I've got is, of course, my absolute Roman Empire, Holy Grail, Boys of Tommen. If you have not read this by now, or you have not heard of it, then I'm sorry, but you must live under a rock. Um, I haven't got the second book at the moment because my friend is borrowing it from me, but I I can't even go into depth about how much I love Boys of Tommen. Like, I cannot put it into words how much I think about these characters. Every single one of the characters I absolutely love, apart from a few, which, if you know, you know. Um, Eventually, we're getting a TV series for that, and I just, I can't. It takes my words away how excited I am. Of course, we're still waiting for the next book to come out, and we don't have a release date yet. But I think I've read these books all about 2 or 3 times each. Like, every couple months, I will just do another Boys of Tom and reread, because it's a book series that you read when you need your heart ripped out whilst having the best, funniest, greatest time ever. Like, I never thought that books could make me feel the way that Boys of Tommen did, and I know this sounds dramatic, but I genuinely think about these characters probably at least once a week. Like, things happen and I'm like, "Oh, I just wish I was back in Tommen." Like, that's how prevalent it is in my head. Like, these books literally changed me and changed my thought process because I think about them all the time. So thank you very much, Chloe Walsh, for that. I don't think I'll ever be the same again. So if you read any of these books from this series, please make sure that it's Boys of Tommen. Like, I know that they're big and they're chunky, so it seems really scary, but you will wish that the books were longer. A lot of people say, like, what book can be that long that they need to say that much? These. That's all I have to say, these. And you will still wish that they are longer. Okay, now the next book that I've got is Ward D by, again, Frida McFadden. Frida McFadden is my go-to thriller reader. I just find her books so fast-paced and so addictive. Like, all of these books by Frida McFadden, I will read in like one sitting. They're just so addictive. And Ward D follows Amy, who is a medical student that has to go and spend the night working in a mental health ward, and there's a bit of a past there, not with herself but with somebody that she used to know, and it does get explained in the book. And just the eeriness and the creepiness of this book give me shivers. Like, I loved this book. I loved all of these books, and I keep saying it. I'm sorry to keep repeating myself, but Ward D is fantastic. And if you want a quick book, just something that's going to captivate your attention that you can get into quickly, please read that book, because that's what it did for me. It was just so quick and I was in love with it. And again, they're normally books that I go to in slumps. Like, I love romance and fantasy, but if I'm in a book slump and I need something to get me out of it, my go-to is always a thriller. Just something that I have to think about and something that stays in your brain and you need to figure out what happens next. So that's how I cure a book slump, really, is by reading thrillers, just because they draw me in better than anything else, I think. The next book series, I do only have two of the books, and that is the Mile High series, or the Windy City series by Liz Tomford. Again, absolutely fantastic. They are sports romances, so it follows groups of friends. I've realised that I love a found family trope in a book. Like, it is probably my favourite. Like, when you've got characters that all come together and you just feel that, oh, love, like the love between all of them, just makes me feel so happy. And this series is really funny as well. I like sports romances because I tend to find I love the humour and the banter between all the characters, which you do tend to get with sports romances. So I highly recommend the Windy City series if you haven't read it. I still need to read this series. I can't think of what it's called off the top of my head. Play with Me, Playing for Keeps. Is that what it's called? But I've been putting it off for longest time because that's like the main big sports romances that I know of, and I'm like, I don't want to be done with them because I love sports romances. And when you get that found family and the banter, like we said, nothing compares to that for me. I think I've got so many favorite books in so many different genres and subgenres just because they all bring something different, or they all make me feel something different. And that's what I love about Windy City, is that it really gives you this sense of like belonging and the found family. So yeah, definitely read that one if you like a found family and sports romance tropes. And there's different tropes within each book as well, so they're not all like reading the same book. Each book has a different like category, really. Okay, so we're nearly at the end now. The next series that I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to talk about very long. Everybody and their mums and their sisters and their brothers and their cats and their dogs have read this series. It just deserves a mention. So it's the Acotar series, which follows Feyre, who is a girl who is living, all of her family are in deprivation and all of the village, and far away from her, there is a wall where fays live, and Feyre kills a wolf, and it ends up being a fairy. So she then gets essentially taken to the Feyland to like fulfill her sentence for killing one of the Fae. I'm not going to talk about this anymore because everybody's probably sick of hearing about it now. As much as we love the series, we get it, it's good. So that's what I'm going to talk about on that one. So the next book that I'm going to be talking about is The Inmate by Frida McFadden. Again, Frida McFadden. I think she is the only thriller author that I have read, and that's why she's one of my favourites. Not saying that she's not brilliant, but I don't. Whenever I try to pick up thrillers, nothing ever draws me in like she does. I think because her books are so fast paced and just the way they're written, it draws you in instantly. So if you do have any other thriller authors that do fast paced writing, please let me know because I would really like to read some more. But The Inmate follows a new nurse. So it's Brooke, who is a nurse practitioner within a maximum security prison. So Brooke actually has a past with one of the prisoners. I won't go too much into it, but this one really shocked me actually. I really like the ending of this one. One thing about Frida McFadden is you think you've got it and you've not got it. When you've read a couple of her books, they do become a bit more like the twists sometimes feel more realistic, or like you can more expected is the word that I'm looking for there. However, you still never guess it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. The ending's always wild, but you still can't guess what it is. Now, the final series that I'm going to be talking about is the Off Campus and Briar U series by L. Kennedy. So, these books were one of the first sports romances that I picked up. I think it was actually the first. Like, I was like, why on earth would I want to read a sports romance? I hate sports. Like, I don't mind football if the World Cup's on, but that's about it. However, I was hooked, literally was hooked. I had to buy all of them. I've got all the mini spin off ones like Charlie Method, um, The Graham Effect, and The Dixon Rule. There's a new TV series coming out at the end. No, it's in 2 weeks, I think. So it's the 13th of May that it comes out on Prime Video, and I will not be moving. I will be sat there watching the entire thing until I'm done. I think there's a good few episodes as well. I want to say 13, but I might have completely overestimated that. It might be like 10 or something. But this series is one of my favourites ever. Again, the found family you get from the characters, just the humour and the giggliness of it. My favourite book is the third one, which I think is Dean. He seems like a dick in a lot of the videos, and then actually when you get to his book, he's really funny and I really enjoy him. But yes, if you're looking again for found family, like sports romance, some emotional, like there are emotional aspects of it, but it's nothing too deep. It's just more about the friendships and the relationships building. So I highly recommend Elle Kennedy's books. That is all the books that I'm going to talk about, mainly because they're all the ones that I've got in physical copy. If there was anything else I was going to bring up, it probably would be the Zodiac Academy. Again, that book is like crack. I don't know what they've written in those books, but it's so addictive. And at first, it can seem really cringy and really like, what on earth's going on? But by the time you finish the first book, like you are just needing the next one and the next one and the next one. I did actually take a break from the series because I read like 5 or 6 of the books in a row, and then I was like, I just need something different. But I'm hoping to go back into it and finish it again soon, because those books took over my life for a good like week or 2 weeks, just because I needed to know what happened next. And it's a massive world as well. Like some fantasies, I find that there's like a vampire or the fae or werewolves, whereas this has like fae, werewolves, every creature you can imagine, sirens, cyclopses, like every creature you can imagine is in this world. And yeah, just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. It follows Tori and I can't remember her sister's name. Two sisters who are born into the human world. They were adopted as children, and then you find out that actually they belong to the world and they are like princesses in this world essentially. And there's 4 heirs who are not very happy that they have been found. They're called the Vega sisters, but they've got a different name in this world, and they then have to be taken to the Zodiac Academy and essentially learn how to be magic and what their powers are. Again, amazing series, and it's one that you can really get lost in for weeks and weeks because there's so many of them. So those are all my recommendations that I have for TikTok books. If there's anything that you think I would like that I've missed from TikTok, please let me know. Or what was your opinions on these books? Because I know that everybody has different opinions, and some people really don't like some of these, or some people love them. If you're interested, I could also do a book talk book recommendations that I didn't enjoy, because reading is subjective and everybody's got their own opinions, and there has been quite a few books that I've picked up and it's just not been for me. So if you would like to see that, then let me know. But if not, I will see you again very soon for another video. Hopefully I will be doing a reading journal again. I'm currently starting the Spark of the Everflame. So I'm starting that series, so I'm hoping to do a read along. But in the meantime, have a lovely day, and I will see you again very soon, hopefully. Bye.